Hello there, this is Jaden and I'll be doing a 30-minute audit for this entire website. Basically, I'm going to be splitting up this entire audit into 3 different sections. The first, probably 5 to 10 minutes, is kind of finding the opportunities that your website has. So that's for the first section. The second section will be a slide audit where we'll go in and find if there's any underlying issues with the website that can actually limit the current website's organic performance. And then last but not least, the last section will be an ideal course of action. So this whole entire video will be less than 30 minutes, and let's get started. So first of all, the website's design. The one thing that usually I look at, it's from a design point of view, because a lot of times once the traffic comes in, the next moment in time will the next phase will be to convert these traffic into paying customers. So the first look at the design is it looks really nice. So let's just get that out of the way. Now the first section, what we're going to do, right, is we're going to be looking for any any opportunities that this website can get. So one of the things that usually check is to see the current performance of the traffic right now. So while that loads, I'm gonna take a moment, let it load. Okay, so first of all, because of so many, I would say, implementations that a website can do, most of the time it's about prioritizing which one is the most important, depending on your website's profile, depending on the business goals. So the first initial look when I look at this site, this seemed like it's a new site. So this fits the profile of a brand new site. Now, obviously, the site doesn't have a lot of traffic. So essentially, when it comes to a new site, you're not going to see a lot of organic traffic. So this tells us in a way that there is no kind of opportunity that we can go after, because all these will be considered new opportunities in a way. So one thing I like to look at is just basically if there's any work done, and if they are done well, not correctly but safely in a way. Because one of the things that you can take note on is when you are doing SEO on a website, you want to make sure that it's as much as you can following the correct guidelines, or in a way white hat. So one way to do that is take a look at the links and just sort this out by one link per domain. And then you can see if I sort this out by DR, so this is good. This is G2, so it's on a platform. And then you can see this is kind of like a PR, and then this is just spammy, this is another spam. Real estate, so this is probably another spam. So you can see technically, let me open up this. Yeah, so this is another spam. Yeah, so this is a PR. So from the looks of things, what I'm doing is I'm trying to gather as much information as I can. So based off on this, the website is new, relatively new. It's offering some sort of software for condos, for real estate. Second, and then third of all, the team or the website didn't really focus that much on building links first. In fact, they are doing some kind of PR, so that is perfectly fine. So with that out of the way, right, what I want to do next is I want to go into the website and find out how big the site actually is. Okay, and you can do a rough estimation. You can obviously go in and crawl the entire site, but you can do a rough estimation with this index feature, and this will tell you roughly, not 100%, but most of the site, most of the page that's being implemented, that has been created on the website. Okay, so it's not a big site. Okay, you can see there's only like 17 pages. And another thing I like to see, it's just based off on which platform they are building. So again, it's all about capturing the correct information, because when it comes to optimizing a website, if the website is being hosted on Shopify versus if it's being hosted on, say, WordPress, for example, the kind of things that you will be looking at to fix will be very different, right? Because Shopify, on Shopify CMS, there's usually a set of fixed problems that you'll generally see, and then similar with WordPress, there's usually a set of errors that you usually see that will require to fix. So ultimately, when you collect all this information, you are looking for patterns, because when you get more information, usually when you notice patterns, it's easier for you to know on the top of your head already what potential problems the website could have. So now let's move on to, so this is on WordPress, okay? And then now let's just take a look at, let's say, one of their blogs, right? Okay, so it seems like this brand is creating blog content, which is good. And because this site is new, right? So most of the time, when it comes to search, from an organic standpoint, newer sites generally take a lot more time for it to be discovered, simply because the site is new. But there's a few things that I'm already noticing. So this is one opportunity that I found, I guess, within this first section, and it's to do with how is the blog content being created, how is it being structured, and also kind of is it at a place where it's going to get traction in the next few months. Okay, and here's what I mean. First of all, when you look at the URL of the site, okay, generally for URLs like that, this kind of give me some ideas about how the content has came up with. Because ideally, if you come up with a content that is based off on a specific keyword, then most of the time you're going to see the URL, the slug of the URL, which is here, is going to be really short. Okay, and almost all of the time it's going to be the keyword. Okay, but in a sense, because this URL is long, okay, this kind of shows me that there isn't really a keyword map to this specific page, and you know that probably it's a keyword that they are going, or you guys are going after, but it's not how would I say, it's not precise enough, because from the URL, it's one of the most important things when it comes to on page, alongside with other things like the page titles and stuff like that. But URLs are one of the most important. So the general best practice for URL is you want to keep it as short, sweet, and ideally having the target keyword within your URL. So in this case, by looking at your URL, and usually by one look, okay, from the look of one URL, you can generally tell the pattern of the other URLs of the other blog posts. Because again, what we are doing over here is to speed up time, to be more effective. We are looking for patterns. So you can see over here, this is another blog post, and you can see the URL structure is really, this is, I don't think the keyword that they are trying to go for is why IMS software might be right for you, because I don't think there'll be a lot of searches. But for example, best IWMS software or IWMS software could be one of the keywords, but just by the looks of this, this doesn't seem like there's a keyword that's being mapped. So that's the first opportunity that I've kind of noticed is you want to make sure that the content you're creating goes after a keyword that is relevant to what you guys are offering, or what you guys are, or it's relative to what your business is in. So in this case, it's in the workplace management area, right? So that's first. Secondly, now I'm going to move on to the on page. So from the initial standpoint, the title and the description is fine because it's within the character headline. So most of the time, if you are using a SEO plugin on a WordPress site, they're going to have guidelines to tell you, you shouldn't be crossing this amount in terms of the number of characters for your page titles, and similarly with description. So it kind of fulfills that first check mark of not having too many words or too many characters within your titles and description. So that's a good starting standpoint. However, based off on what your keyword is, you want to formulate your title in a way that includes the targeted keyword, and ideally, as much as you can, you want to move it all the way to the left so that it's a lot more relevant. And also, if you are able to, you want to either do two of these things. You want to include secondary keywords, which means keywords that are that is also related to the primary keyword that you're trying to target, but have lesser search volume. So you want to try to insert it within here, and everything needs to be done on a natural basis. Meaning to say, you can't be typing in IWMS software and then a separator and then IWMS software benefits, for example. Like, that is not natural, so you need to do it in a natural way. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you can, you want to include a kind of like a modifier or a variation or a adjective towards here, just to make it more click-worthy in a way. This is something you do a little bit with copy. So for example, if this blog post is about IWMS software and why is it important, it could be something like IWMS software, and then you can put a bracket, for example, and then important details, for example. Now this is a very, very lousy example, but basically the idea here is to make your page titles stand out as compared to the other competitors who are going to be ranking for IWMS software, right? So this is for page titles. Now meta description works around the same way, where you are already keeping this below 155 characters, and most of the time you want to include your target keyword within here, but you want to structure your meta description in a way that it's click worthy, right? So in this instance, for example, the description is IWMS software is flexible, dynamic, and easy to use, making an attractive option for professionals looking to excel in the industry. So this is decent, but with optimization is all about leveling up. So what you can do over here, you can put something, you can change it to something like IWMS software is flexible, dynamic, and easy to use. Check out, check out why, or find out why is it an attractive option here, for example, right? So this way it makes it a little bit more click worthy, so that when people see your result on the search engine result page, which is on Google, they are given a lot more reason to click on your page because they want to find out what this attractive option is, for example, right? So this is for page titles and meta description. I'm not going to go in down into further details, because with this next section, I'll be going through a little bit of audit, kind of to see, actually I've already done it for a bit, but kind of to see what are some of the things that is limiting the growth of the site, or potentially limiting the growth of the chart of the site. So one thing I like to see, it's kind of the pages that's being indexed. So one thing that I've already noticed, which is your author page, and from the looks of it, it's being indexed. So this is a really common issue. So for all the pages that you have, there are pages that you don't want Google to index. Okay, so meaning to say, there are pages that it's meant for user experience, and generally user experience pages, say for example your archive pages, your privacy policy pages and stuff like that, you don't have to have them indexed on Google. And if you do index them on Google, you are in not a direct way, but an indirect way of serving kind of what we call thin content within the industry. And you want to, as much as you can, minimize the number of thin content you have overall across your website. So author pages generally are considered thin content, and the reason why is because it fulfills user experience. So that means to say, it's really meant from a user experience point of view, and it's not really meant for SEO, because number one, unless it's a really well-known author where people are searching for this author, then you want to keep this page. But if not, most of the time it's not going to be. So people are not going to be searching for Kim Brown of Office Control, right? Because again, depending on the personal brand of the author, right? So this is not going to get any sort of search traffic in a way. Secondly, you can see the content is this is just a collection of pages. So what we need to do is we then need to go in and no index these kind of pages, because what's going to happen is if you add in another author, there's going to be another page that's similar to this. So because the website it's not huge at the moment, it's always good to have a fundamentals layout first, so that as and when the website grows, when you guys add in more content and things like that, this doesn't get bloats up. So you want to take care of it before, you want to take care of all these fixes first before the website grows. So this is just one of the things. Let me see if I can find any. Again, I'm doing this on the fly. So, and because the page is not, you know, that there isn't a lot of page. So let me see the feature page. Okay, and this looks okay. Okay, this looks okay. Articles. Okay, so there seems to be like a, I don't think there's subdomains here that is being indexed because it should not be. Okay, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, let me take a look at your sitemap. Okay, it's really nice. This 404 page is really nice. But is there no sitemap? Huh. Okay, interesting. Let me see, do you guys have sitemap in your robots.txt? So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for technical issues. Yeah, so this is a sitemap. So let me go and take a look. Great. So you have your case studies pages, which is fine. So it seems like you have a lot more pages that you that is on the site, but it's not being indexed, which is kind of weird. Okay, I think I know what is it. The reason why, right? It's because I think there was a change in domain. Let me see. Yeah, I think there was a change in domain. Huh. Am I doing this right? Condo. Yeah. Yeah, so officecontrol.com. So this is really interesting. So again, the reason why I like to do audits like this is because I can find out specific things that is happening on a website, because honestly, there's always a set of things that you need to do in terms of SEO for all the types of sites out there. But every website have their own profile, right? Whether it's a new site or old site. And in this case, it's a old site migrating. I think you guys are currently redirecting from a old domain to a new domain. But you have your sitemap of your old domain here, which is kind of weird. Okay. So unless you have a reason to do that, I don't know why this is here, because this sitemap should be for officecontrol.com. So this would mean to say this is your previous or maybe a related website. Not really sure what's going on here. But again, for sitemaps, right, you don't want to put this in here, because essentially this is slightly confusing if I'm a Google bot. Because when I come to the sitemap of Office Control, by right I'm supposed to see the sitemap of Office Control, but in this case it's serving me condocontrolcentral.com. So it's kind of weird. And this page is getting a lot of traffic, right, as compared to this page. Yeah, so slightly confusing in a way. Yeah, so not sure what is going on there. And then this should have its own sitemap, right? Okay, what's happening here? Why can't I find any sitemap? What's the sitemap again? Yeah, but either ways, right, you can see that it's confusing even from a person's standpoint. So you want to remove that sitemap and include Office Control sitemap within here. Yeah, so let me see, request a demo. Yeah, so this is already an interesting website to look at. Okay, so one thing that again with the sitemap issues, you wanna make sure that it's sorted out, because like you can see, these are all the blog pages. Let me see if it's causing an issue here. So 1, 2, this is the blog archive page. So 1, 2, 3. So you guys have 3 content here, but you have 2, 3, 4. You have 5 pieces of 6. Yeah, you have more content here, but it's not being indexed. So this could be one of the reasons why sometimes when you guys post a specific post up, right, it's not getting indexed because your sitemap, it's hard for Google to you're not making it easy for Google to come in and understand if there's any changes on your website, because your sitemap is linking to another website sitemap. So ideally, you want to go ahead and change that. So whenever you guys publish a article or a blog content, it gets indexed faster. So that is with regards to the sitemap. Now that is the 20 minutes. So I think the last final section of what I have over here is just basically a course of action, right? So the first course of action is to come up with content that it's around a keyword-based content, right? So you want to make sure that you are doing some form of keyword research first before you guys are publishing content on officecontrol.com. And then you want to take care of the URLs. So make sure that your URLs are short and not the length, not the title of the post. That's second. And then third of all, you want to make sure that your page titles do have a keyword inserted within there. And similarly with your description, you want to rewrite your description. And last but not least, in terms of a little bit of technicality stuff, you want to change your sitemap, because it's slightly confusing to Google. So if you guys have wondered how come when you publish content it's not being indexed on Google, this could be one of the reasons why. And this is my initial 30 minutes audit. So I hope you like what you see, and hope this helps you out. Cheers.